Parasite is a pretty great movie, and you really don't need me to tell you that. Pretty much universally acclaimed, and rightly so, the film broke out of cultural boundaries with its easy-to-translate themes of steep wealth division and capitalist values. But we're not here to talk about that. There are thousands of videos breaking down Parasite in much more detail than I can. So, I'm here today, in hopes of guiding anyone who isn't normally accustomed to branching out to different cultures of film that may need a helping hand in continuing down that path. Welcome to What to Watch After, a little series recommending lesser-seen films similar to ones that may have made their way into the public eye. So, without any more stalling, if you did enjoy Parasite, may I present... Microhabitat follows Miso, a housekeeper working on day-to-day commissions and living a strictly budgeted life. When the price of cigarettes rises, she makes the decision to remove one of her luxuries so she can keep her lifestyle. That luxury unfortunately being her home. So Miso sets out, armed with complimentary eggs, to ask aid from her former friends/bandmates, who each have their own set of circumstances to deal with. Now after that brief summary, you may be thinking the comparison to Parasite is a bit unwarranted considering Parasite's more colourful sequences. The comparison, however, doesn't lie in the overt, but the thematic substance that carries both features. In both films we see smart, resourceful people reduced to living from table scraps. And whilst Miso isn't looking to exploit the rich, we see the same parallels of class division causing social rifts. We explore a multifaceted view of Korean life through Miso's short time living and interacting with each of her old friends. From parental pressure to marry and start a family to masking postpartum depression and dissatisfaction with your own life choices by belittling others if they don't fit into the mold you try so hard to fit yourself. Despite her homeless status, as we explore each of her friends' lives, we come to find it may be Miso herself who is the happiest. The honesty she shows in her desires leads her to be more forward in dealing with her issues. It allows Miso to be sensitive towards others, as in her eyes they must be more miserable than her, if they're not doing what they truly want to do. Microhabitat is a deceivingly dense film. While Parasite has its classism as its core theme, in Microhabitat it's more of a backdrop, used as a framing device to explore multiple different facets of issues that all seem to lead into the same wanting that pains each principal character. Whilst Miso's plight of being unable to afford the basics of living can come off as comedic in its presentation, the scene of her deciding which part of her life to sacrifice being a sublime little piece of dark humour. It can also be seen as a plight of addiction. Her reliance on smoking and drinking, despite not in the quantities that you would normally associate with such addictions, is the catalyst for her spiral into poverty. The balance of sweetness and comedy belies its harsh nature. The picture presented of modern Korea is not a kind one. The simplistic expressions of kindness Miso is able to show through menial chores like making lunches for a woman who always has to cook, or cleaning for a man who has lost his drive to take care of himself. These allow us to hear their plights and struggles, simply living as is expected. Miso is the conduit these tales are told through. I don't think the juxtaposition of bleak reality with offbeat laughs would work without her character allowing alleviation and perspective over the sometimes harrowing course of events. What Microhabitat does so well, and the main reason it came into my head for this comparison, is the way it presents its issues. Despite being very clearly through a Korean lens, its social issues are shown in a universally accessible way. It achieves what Parasite did, what made Parasite such a hit in Western circles. It just doesn't have Bong Joon-ho's name attached. I can wax lyrical for however long about how name recognition and studio pushes for the big boys can bury the little films that are just as great, but if you really love film, you've got to seek it out for yourself. Excluding the little helping hand this video is, of course. Support the talented people putting in the graft. Find the little things that keep you going and try to keep them afloat if you've got the means to do so. So yeah, once again, if you enjoyed Parasite, please consider Microhabitat.